Hello everyone, and welcome back to Make Believe, where we're playing the house in Fata Morgana. Last time, we started the next era, which happened long time ago, before our previous one, and possibly before any of them, I think. We're following the story of the white-haired maiden, as she's running away from people that believe she's a witch. She finds herself at that mansion and tries to hide in there. However, she can find nor a owner nor light in there. As she roams around looking for either, she finds herself in the chapel, and there she meets the owner, who this who tells her that she should leave the mansion for her own sake, as he's cursed. However, he's not gonna chase her out. So at the end of the day, it's her choice. She decides to stay, and so the two of them start sharing the mansion together. And she try look at books and everything. So we'll see how it goes. The cursed man, as I was saying, he says that he's cursed. Perhaps now we will see why. Had been about a week since the white haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Oh yeah, I remember there was some red writing that was in the log but was not in the story. So okay, how far back does this go? Okay, yeah. When he allowed her to stay as long as she didn't enter his room. So quite a while back. I need to pay attention to the log, because I don't know if that will ever happen again or not. Staying in the house, deprived of light, was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as a part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Michel continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. As I was mentioning from the log. Nonetheless, on the occasions they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Ooh, the cellar. The cellar just reminds me of that photo that was found here in the era of innovation, which is in the future, so yeah. Well, this is troubling. Can't go down to the village, but if you don't do something soon, gonna run out of stock? The cellar was where the food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats, and cheese. Our daily meals were taken from the supply here. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But master, you know, a young, delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, the other questions about Michel started rising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, Surely, he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. Wait, his bedchamber? Ah, but on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionlessly at the door, lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something. Um, may I ask you a question? Go on. I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we're running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock? I haven't been outside in 10 years. Then, how do you... What if I told you I don't eat? What? That I am not of this world, and as such, I have no need of sustenance. What would you think of that? That sounds very, economical? You can survive without having to eat. One less thing to worry about. If it were possible, I'd like to have that ability too. It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time. Ah, was I supposed to be afraid? Come on, try again. I'll do it right this time. Never mind. Doesn't matter. You ask about the food in the cellar. Getting to be about that time. Hmm? Wait, and you will find out. What do you... It's here. Somebody delivering food? Oh? You want to know where my supplies come from? Open the door. But, I'm in hiding, remember? There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal. Signal? I see, they leave the food there, knock on the door just to let him know, kind of like ringing the doorbell, and then leave. The white-haired girl turned towards Michel to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answers yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. Wow, that was loud. So bright. The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not got any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark, her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. Yeah, I imagine. Considering there's not really any light in the mansion other than the chapel, so they use candles there. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light, what's this? She noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Michel about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michel from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light more than one whiff. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house, but eventually did manage to drag it through the front door. Yep, that loud noise again. And then everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest. What's... Without a word, Michel approached her and the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box. Very good sound effects, by the way. Go on, open it up. At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Unexpected for her. For Michel, it seems like was very expected. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was wrecked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. That's what I expected. Something amusing. It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was, worried about what might be inside. We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar. So, beware. It completely slipped my mind. Are you a very forgetful girl? This should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all this to you? There should be a book in there as well. What? Oh, there is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. So yeah, his family's the one sending the food supplies. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? I mean, not necessarily they were the one that delivered it. They could have sent someone to deliver it too. Or also because of that whole curse situation. What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here? Take the book to the library, please. I will bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar. But it's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it. That won't be necessary. Take the book and go. Staring contest. But fine, and stay here. I'll take care of everything. The book and the food. Wait, hold on, please. What is it? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious. Say what you have to say, please. I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be in prison here? Oh, he lost the staring contest. I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house. Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are, or what this curse even is. I don't know how you feel about it. So much I don't know. And I'm not even sure your curse actually exists. I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt, from your point of view, at least. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, mm, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then, come with me. What? I'll show you my curse. As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. But hey, he's showing emotion. That's something more than I expected out of him. That smile, carved into his mask, was far colder than from any look of annoyance or rejection. Okay, why the smile? But despite the twinges of nervousness, she still followed after Michel. As much as he might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. He felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment. Just like we are now, many things are buried here. Huh? Mice, insects, wild cats, and dogs. Um, have you ever thought it's strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion? You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar. They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. Sound. Like the whispering. You have your answer now. That was it? A butterfly flirted its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michel held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drift down upon it to rest its wings. Is it gonna die? Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment. All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood. It's poison for all life. But the butterfly's movement began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then, without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk. It's dead, all dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. Like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? But I saw it with my own eyes. If this is his curse, though, it explains much. Also, I was gonna mention that this whole thing of him being in a mansion by himself and his family put him there because of the curse, it reminds me of Henry from Black Clover. But then this curse reminds me of Rishida, which also from Black Clover, which is interesting. Just change Henry's curse for Rishida's. There are more than just insects and animal corpse buried here. And I just noticed the butterfly here. Wow. Hmm. Servants who came to visit me long ago are here beneath the ground, under our very feet. That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me? Should he get near me? His very life is in danger. So, by the way, is she keeping her distance from him so that she doesn't inhale the air that he's exhaling? No one's interested enough in seeing me take that risk. No one will have anything to do with it. Nary a soul even wish to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you. So that's why you have never once touched me. And that's why also he warned her to leave but never actively kicked her out. Because for that, he will most likely have to touch her. When I knocked the books down the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And only one of us ever made contact with the box at entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Yeah, because they could very likely touch their hands when moving the box together. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine. My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests means nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real? No, no, I do. I saw it, the butterfly. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable. But you've shown me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either. In which case, you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you would be killed. But it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here. It was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. Can't imagine just how much he's given up on. Just how many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness would have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. So, no, I will not leave. I will stay here with you. Leave this place. No, I will not. Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay. Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. I know it. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can not to inadvertently kill me, such as staying most of the day in his room, not afflict me with your curse. No. Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can, honestly, truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent. No, I. That day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out. You listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day, I thought you to be a good person. and I still believe that. Ooh, look at the look he has right now. Very different from the usual, like, kind of dead stare he usually has. I simply, I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you would be so foolish. There we go, we're back to the dead stare. As you want, stay in a house like this, a man like me. How does that make me foolish? Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant? The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away, get myself somewhere, get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone, to live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. Breath. It terrifies me, afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experience, my thoughts, feelings with. That's what awaits me out there. Then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life. Possible. Please, don't chase me out. You are a cruel girl. You know that. Mm, never again will I allow myself to get close to someone only to watch them die. Never again. Ooh, that is some weight in those lines there. Getting close to someone and watching them die, and never again. Meaning happened before. Maybe once, maybe multiple times. My mother was the first to die. There it is. It happened shortly after my birth. Yeah, depending how early on you were cursed, I can see that. Next was my wet nurse. Two deaths could be considered a coincidence, but as the numbers rose, it became clear that I was cursed, and I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake, such as like them bumping to each other at the corner of a hallway. I couldn't take it any longer, so you chose to move here, to this remote mansion. Keep yourself away from your family. You weren't in prison here. You elected to live alone, so you wouldn't hurt anyone. For better, for worse, I was born into a noble house. So rather than abandon me, they provided me the means to live out of sight. I'll be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur. Keep you from being alone again. I will not, for any reason, touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while, and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, and I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. Do you get me? I fear being utterly alone more than anything. And I think you understand just how scary that is. So, why are you so stubbornly insistent on it being me? I'm sure there's someone else there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet. I believe someone like you eventually will. Because, unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward. It has to be you. I'm certain of it. Why? Because, I didn't get to that part yet. I, you can tell me? No, I can. I just, please, don't get upset with me. Hmm? I think, therefore I am. I really, really love you. Okay. Talk about love at first sight. Though they had stayed together for a while. I don't really know when did this happen. And together is a very broad sense of the word. His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip men and beasts alike of its life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such power upon such a beautiful young man. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale, like something confined to words upon the page. It seemed otherworldly, unbelievable, unbelievable. Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world had its fair share of oddities. It just so happened that that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master, the doors to the past through which we have passed this very mansion, and as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Michel acted in response to her proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others. No, unable to interact with them. As such, he wasn't sure how to respond. As just standing there, expressionless for a few moments, he muttered, "I'll consider it." And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally do not believe he was completely devoid of emotion. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. Who would? Forgetting how to express your emotions because of solitude. That's impactful. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of a complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations that, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion, and that, knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Michel was not fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. But he had gone through his life shunned, feared, pushed away. Metaphorically, not literally, because then the person would have died. Anyways, him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him, so he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Oh dear. Several days had passed since Michel had asked for time to faint. He had still yet to show himself again. This is all my fault. The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth. Every step she took was slow, laborious, her mind raised with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, he was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, he arrived at the door, sitting in an utterly unlit hallway, like all of them. She drew in a breath of a musty air, then let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back, also doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I want nothing more than to give her a little nudge. After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. Just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. But what's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage once more. This time, determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist towards the door, which then swung open. Back away, back away. Huh? I'm sorry. Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap? I'm sorry. And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers. You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really wanted to tell you this. Oh, well, actually, I am truly sorry. What? The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my mind for anything else. I shoved my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted. Just running, non-stop, not thinking at all. Was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that, but you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affections of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. Hmm. I'm sorry. Don't be. Um, my mind went blank for a moment. What? I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day, you were firm in your intentions to stay, and now you say you live without a struggle. You you hold up in your room for so long that I thought you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here. You, I think you should do whatever pleases you. Huh? You can stay or you can leave. I will not pressure you to one or the other. So, I'm not imposing? Tell you the truth. I had to think about that for some time. Um, However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room. What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to prevent what almost happened a few moments ago, so we don't accidentally run into each other. Sorry, you're forgiven. Now come in. Okay. Is this a necklace? That what it looks like to you? Then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up. Was it a necklace he made? Ah, it has a little bell. It's adorable. A bell to warn him of where she is, maybe? Please, make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. Because it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk. Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this? That's right. What other reasons would I have? Um, I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood or that you didn't want to see them. I have little sense of how most people see the world. I haven't had too many interactions, after all. Sorry. I appreciate it though. Really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me. It would be difficult not to after that other day. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier. You're being dramatic. Tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it. Why? It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock. You're a person. That's why you turned into a necklace? Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michel. Don't call me Lord, please. Alright then, um, I would just call you Michel. And will you please call me Giselle? I forgot that that was her name. Because we always call her the white hair girl and stuff. That on this era, we actually learned her name. Because before it was just blanked out. Which, by the way, we didn't have any red hug, right? No. Okay. The windows. What? If we could open the windows. Actually, never mind. I was just thinking, you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here. Hmm? It can't be open? They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shuttered for as long as I've been here. I assume you had boarded them all up. That was done long before I ever arrived. Oh, so that's why it's so dark in here. I thought he was doing it on purpose. After so many years here, though, I hardly consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers. Oh, really? There's something odd about that. No, it's just I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learned more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn. All the people I have ever met, you're perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you now have no aversion to the darkness, the dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. You understand? I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight, like a vampire. You're anything but unholy. My name would suit you much better than me. Oh, what was that? Okay, what is that sound? Okay, we're gonna cover more about this sound next time. Very unnerving without really knowing the context there. But anyway, that's all for this episode because we learned about his curse, what it actually is, what is going on with him living this mission, what is going on with the mission's light, as well as her feelings and about this whole situation. So now we can get some progression here, I guess, over time. But yeah, that is all for this episode. And with that being said, see you next time. Bye.
Set the scene in a local bed's big dream. Axes ready.